Коллеги, добрый день. Приветствую всех на сегодняшнем партнерском вебинаре для менеджеров по продажам. Сегодня у нас компания Arcon представит свое решение Arcon Tech Solution, ведущий разработчик решений по контролю рисков и защиты корпоративной информации организаций. Factor Group представляет компанию Arcon в качестве регионального дистрибьютора в России и ближнем зарубежье. Я очень рад представить сегодня коллег от вендора. Это Адитья Кумар и Харшвардан Лале, вице-президент по развитию, вице-президент бизнес-девелопмент компании Arcon. Сегодня они представят презентацию по решению компании Arcon.
Коллеги, немножко еще от себя добавлю. Это Дмитрий Данилов. Да, позвольте немножко добавить. Решение действительно очень интересное, востребовано. По вчерашним откликам от наших партнеров, кто слушал инженерный вебинар, что это решение действительно очень актуально сейчас для российского рынка, ввиду того, что, по сути, появилась полноценная замена решению CyberArk. И решение действительно очень достойно. По тестам Гартнера решение Arcon в этом году является самым лучшим. Оно даже превысило результаты тестов компании CyberArk. Это действительно достойный конкурент, очень хорошее, достойное в технологическом плане, функциональном плане решение, которое не стыдно показывать заказчикам. Поэтому если кто-то из вас захочет по итогам вебинара протестировать у себя это решение, развернуть у себя пилотную зону, welcome, обращайтесь, пожалуйста, в личку. Я сейчас в чате напишу почтовый ящик, на который можно обращаться. Отдельно мы выложим ссылочку по регистрации проектов. Кто захочет сейчас одним из первых зарегистрировать свои проекты и предложить туда Arcon на замену каким-то другим решениям. Это не только CyberArk, это много других вендоров, кто производит PAM решения. Вот, welcome, мы готовы вас поддержать, помочь в сделках. Пожалуйста, не забывайте, что Factor Group – это проектный дистрибьютор. Мы помогаем партнерам на всех этапах, начиная от пресейла, помощь в подготовке конкурсов, проведении конкурсов, внедрении и дальнейшее сопровождение. В этом плане нашим партнерам, кто с нами работает, работать очень комфортно. Вот, по сути, мы не только контролируем, мы помогаем партнерам на всех этапах. И наша задача максимально реализовать сделки. Мы ориентируемся на результат для того, чтобы были продажи. Вот, поэтому желаю всем хорошо сегодня послушать, позадавать интересные вопросы, разобраться в лицензировании, как это продается, в чем плюсы. Если у вас какие-то вопросы, не стесняйтесь задавать их. Сегодня как раз тот самый день, когда вопросы задавать не стыдно. Их можно задавать на русском языке, на английском языке, как вам удобно. Хотите голосом, хотите в чате пишите. Наша команда сегодня саппортит. Мы переведем с русского на английский, с английского на русский, как будет удобно. Но в любом случае ни один вопрос без ответа не останется. На этом,
да, если еще, еще называется пара, называется, Виктор Барин, тоже по компании Factor Group, немножко называется по нашему устоявшейся практике проведения подобного рода вебинаров, опять-таки мы сейчас включаем, как вы видели, уже включилась запись, соответственно, запись будет доступна после, называется, окончания проведения соответствующего вебинара, но момент, соответственно, выступления нашего коллеги, большая просьба, вопросы задавать в чат, после того, как закончится основное выступление наших, называется, коллег, мы отключаем запись, открываем, соответственно, микрофоны, и можно будет, как говорил Дмитрий, все вопросы пообсуждать вживую, Но, соответственно, в момент проведения соответствующего мероприятия и соответствующей презентации наших западных коллег, большая просьба, соответственно, писать вопросики в чат, опять-таки язык выбирайте, какой вам более удобен, русский, английский, соответственно, мы эти все вопросы все равно потом в конце мероприятия озвучим, пройдемся по ним. Так что ни один из вопросов, сказал Дмитрий, не останется неотвеченным. Спасибо всем
Спасибо, Виктор Александрович. Только теперь уже не западные, а восточные коллеги. Это важное замечание.
Да, совершенно верно. Спасибо.
Спасибо, Харши, Адитya. We can start.
Great. Thanks a lot, Dimitri. Thank you again to Factor Group for giving us this opportunity to present Arcon's use case to Factor Group and all the partners associated with Factor Group. Really appreciate you people finding time from your busy schedule and joining me for this particular presentation. I will quickly introduce myself, although Dimitri did that. I am Harsh. I am the Vice President for Business Development at Arcon. I am supporting Arcon in building new territories, and Russia happens to be one of the regions that we want to really aggressively go behind, which is why we have forged a very strong relationship with Factor Group, and we are hoping to do a lot of business with Factor Group and the support from all their partners. So thanks a lot for joining the call. Really appreciate that. I will quickly get into the presentation, so I will share my screen here. Right, so for today's agenda, I am going to quickly give a brief about Arcon, who we are, what is our vision, what is our mission, what are we trying to really solve, and things like those. I would walk you through the various certifications and the analyst coverage that the company has. I will then deep dive on the Arcon product suite. We had a session yesterday where we discussed about privileged access management. Today, I would also walk you through the other products that Arcon has. I will at least at a high level explain to all of you, which can help you initiate conversations with your partners. And I'll also quickly touch upon areas where we compete with which partners and things like those. I will then talk about the product licensing. So how does each of the product get licensed, and how do we really sell that? I would talk about that. The most important part for, I'm sure, all of you is why should you partner with us? So I will quickly walk you through what's the business size like, what is our expectation, and how are we really able to do that. I will quickly give you a glimpse about customers across the globe that we have, and then I will open the session for any question and answers that anybody has. So about Arcon, we are a leading information security solutions provider. We have been known in the industry for privileged access management tool that we have. It's the flagship product that Arcon has been selling in the market since 2009. So it's been more than 13-14 years that we are selling this product in the market. And the development for this product started sometime in 2006-2007. So the company has been in existence for more than 15 years now. We have a predominant market share in India, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. In the Indian continent, we have, there are 43 leading banks in India, out of which 41 banks, all the leading banks, including the Federal Bank, the State Bank of India, which is the largest bank, everybody is using Arcon in the Indian geography. We have a maximum presence in the, we are dominant in the PAM market for India. We have more than 70% of the BFSI sector in the Middle East also using Arcon. And when we come to those slides, I will walk you through what are the easy, low-hanging fruits that you guys can target and how you can do that. Our mission is to really provide global organizations a platform to secure both digital identities and digital transformation for seamless digital transformation, right? We're talking about digital identities, we are talking about machine identities, and any other identity that you can think of. We are able to service the industry today. We now take pride in saying that we are not only a PAM solution provider, but we are identity as a service provider. So any need that any organization has to do with identity, we have a solution available at Arcon. Our vision is to continuously develop a robust stack of product that would help enterprises predict, protect, and prevent IT risks. So if you see the product portfolio, you will realize that we are heavily invested in the identity domain, but we also have invested in a lot of information security tools, which help the organizations in creating the right posture for their IT risk scores that they may have. So what are we trying to solve here? All right, and this covers a lot of the tools that Arcon offers in the market today. We are trying to offer a governance framework to manage, control, and monitor privileged identities. So this I'm talking about more from a privileged identity perspective. As I said, when we talk about either the digital identity or the machine identity, we are able to help you with a normal identity, which is the identity of a normal user, a day-to-day routine user. We are able to manage the identities for privileged users. We are able to manage identities which are application to application. We are able to manage identities for bots. So any kind of identity that you may have, we have the ability and the capability to really manage those. We are offering a cloud native access control applications to ensure enterprises cloud first strategy is a success. So we are trying to support all our customers with their cloud first strategy. We have our own solution. All the solutions that I'm going to talk about, all the products that I'm going to talk about today are available on the SaaS for all our customers to take. SaaS happens to be our preferred mode of delivery today. We haven't discontinued the on-premise model as of yet, but we are very selective in offering the on-premise model. But depending on the geography, depending on the industry vertical, we are flexible to offer on-premise models as well. But we believe that there is a big shift. Like 3 years back, if you would have asked me, customers wouldn't want their vaults to be on the internet. But today, customers are coming and asking us to have a vault on the internet. So there is a big shift in the mindset of the customers. And so to ensure that we make available things to them, we are supporting their cloud first strategy. We offer the robust endpoint security solutions, and when we come to the product slide, I'll talk more about it. But this is used for endpoint privilege management. So this is again a very unique product, for managing the identities on the endpoint. So for example, you may have normal users having a need to do admin work for some time. We can actually enable that for the end users, which will be just in time and based on the least privilege strategy that the organization has. So we have that. We have a very robust AI ML empowered solution, right? So this is not just one solution. We have the AI ML modules built into PAM. We have a user behavioral analytics tool which uses AI ML. So we kind of learn a lot about the users, about the identities, and we are able to present that back to the organizations to prevent and to predict and to prevent any happenings within the organization. We have a robust solution for GRC teams to comply with stringent IT standards and regulations, which can help them with their data privacy initiatives, with data integrity and data security initiatives. And again, when we go to the product slide, I will walk you guys through all the various products that we have, and I'm sure you will be able to understand what I'm talking about here. More about us. We've recently shifted our corporate office to Houston. However, the R&D center continues to be in Mumbai. We are based in a location called Andheri East in Mumbai, which is where the R&D center really is. That's where the entire product team, our support team, our implementation guys, our functional consultants, our strategists, everybody is based in Mumbai. We are international. As of date, we are selling to more than 75 countries worldwide. We have a very successful partner channel ecosystem through which we sell to our customers. We have more than 1050 customers across the world. Now, this is in reality the number which is for our direct customers. If we include indirect customers, this number will become more significant. So that's the kind of customer base that we have worldwide. We have tie-ups with 175 plus global system integrators and channel partners. Every country that we invest in, we have either one or two distributors, and then we would have anywhere in the range of 20 to 30 odd partners in every geography that we work with. We have very strong relationships with global system integrators like Tata Consultancy Services, Tech Mahindras, all the big fours, that is Ernst & Young, KPMG, Deloitte, PwC, and we work with predominantly every channel partner in the geography that we have entered, and which is what we are now doing for the Russia and the ex-USSR market now, with the help of Factor Group and all of you lovely people who are on the call here. We have a number of employees. It says 350 plus, but that's a stale data. We are scaling up pretty fast. We today are more than 450 people organization. When I'm saying 450 people, this is the employee strength across the world. We have, as I mentioned to you, a very solid engineering team and a very robust product management team, which is helping us build various products and take it to the market. We are successful, consistently profitable since the inception. We are 100% bootstrapped, so there is no investment that is coming from anywhere else. So thus, we are not under pressure to sell from anyone. We are passionate about the domain that we are operating in, and so we want to do the right things for our customers and ensure that we are able to resolve the customer problems that we see in the market. So that's that's a quick about Arcon. Quickly moving to certifications, and the following slides are going to be very important because these will talk about the differentiators that we also have against our competition. So we are an ISO 27001 certified organization. I mentioned some time back that our preferred mode of delivery today is SaaS. So we have a SOC 2 Type 2 compliance certificate for offering SaaS solutions to our customers. We also have the STQC certification, which is the common minimum criteria certificate that we are already, we already have that. So we are, in a way, all the necessary certifications that are required for any product to be operating in the information security space. We are already certified with all those certifications. Affiliations. We are affiliated with the Center of Internet Security, NASSCOM, which is the largest body in India, which is the National Association of Software and Services Companies, where almost all the Indian companies are registered. We are registered there. We have strong relationships with Computer Society of India. FICCI is another important organization in India. We are associated with a lot of ISACA chapters globally. So we are, we are associated with the ISACA chapter in India, in US, in UK, in Dubai, in Saudi, in many other geographies that we operate in. So we have very strong relations with them. And we also are affiliated to CII, which is Confederation of Indian Industries, a leading body that represents the Indian organizations worldwide. So we are affiliated with all of them. Now comes the more interesting part that I really wanted to share with all of you. We have been consistently for 2 years, and we are waiting for the results for 2022 to be announced. I believe that should come sometime in November. But we have been recognized as the customer's choice in the Gartner's Peer Insight Voice of the Customer. Now, when I say this, these insights or these peer insights that people have given for us do not come from small companies only. We have 10 plus organizations which have $10 billion worth of revenue who have given us the recommendations for the Gartner Peer Insights. So we are very strong in the enterprise space. If you look at the 1,050 customers that I showed to you in my previous slide, I would say that 90+% of those would be enterprise class customers. And when I'm saying enterprise class customers, these people would have at least 5 to 10,000 devices, going up to 1 million odd devices. We have complexities that we manage to the to the highest order that no other PAM service solution provider has ever offered in the market. Very important for Arcon, we have been named once again as the leaders in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant. It's been consistently the last 5 years that we are part of the Gartner's Magic Quadrant, and it's been the last couple of years that we are part of the leadership quadrant there. And I would like to show you the next slide. So if you see the red circle that I have here, that's where Arcon really is. So we moved from being the niche players to visionaries to challengers to leaders now. And if you see, we are only next to CyberArk in the Magic Quadrant here. The reason why we are slightly behind a CyberArk really is because we are not heavily invested in the US geography. Gartner has a lot of weightage for the products who are invested in the US geography, and we are not as heavily invested as a CyberArk is, which is the only differentiator that we have against a CyberArk, which is why we are probably behind a CyberArk. Otherwise, from a critical capability perspective, we are number one. So this is about the critical capabilities for PAM. Now, this year, Gartner came up with 5 critical capabilities for the PAM, EPM, and CIEM domain. Arcon happens to be part of all the 5 critical capabilities, and not just part of it. We are proud to say that we are number one in all the 5 categories that Gartner has listed for us, right? So for the category, so others may or may not be present in all the 5, but Arcon is not only present, but we are number one in all the 5 critical capabilities that Gartner has listed for this year. That's point number 1. Point number 2, Arcon has scored 4.03 on a scale of 5 for the critical capabilities listed by Gartner. And this is again for the first time that any organization has been able to achieve a score beyond 4 in the critical capabilities for privileged access management. So the likes of CyberArk, Beyond Trust, nobody has ever been able to cross the score of 4 on the scale of 5 for the critical capabilities. But this is the first time that Arcon has scored beyond a 4, and we are significantly ahead of our competition there. Right. Arcon is also included in the 2021 Gartner Asia Pacific context. So there is also a different magic quadrant for privileged access management for Asia Pacific, and we happen to be part of the leadership quadrant there as well. It is not just Gartner who's talking well about us. Kapinger Cole also comes up with its leadership compass, and they have recognized Arcon as an innovation leader and product leader in the leadership compass. Forrester is also recognized Arcon as a leader in the privileged access management domain. So it's not Arcon which is trying to tell the industry that we are the betters or the best in the industry. It is the analysts who are now going and talking about Arcon and telling customers that they should look at Arcon. I'm very happy to tell you that wherever, so I've been going around the world attending a lot of events that Gartner or the others have organized. So it could be Kapinger Cole, it could be Black Hat, it could be Gartner. So there are various events, or the events in Dubai, Saudi, or Philippines, and places like that we've attended, where people have actually come to our booth and requested for replacements of CyberArks, the Beyond Trust of the world. Right, I'm very happy to inform you that we have replaced a CyberArk in many leading organizations across the world. If you are aware, in India, we have one of the largest telecom companies called Airtel. We have replaced CyberArk there. We have replaced CyberArk in another leading bank in India, which is called Kotak Bank. We have replaced CyberArk. We have replaced the likes of Okta and Ping Identities and ForgeRox in many in many organizations across the globe. So we are not only and this is purely because of the technical capabilities that the product really has to offer. We have solutions which are much better in terms of coverage, in terms of the coverage for use cases. And when we come to the specific slide, I'll talk more about it. So coming to the product suite that we have, as I mentioned to you, probably Arcon is known in the industry for privileged access management. However, we have now really extended our wings in the entire identity space. And as I mentioned, we like to be called as identity as a service provider. And that's where I will walk you through the various products that we have. So not necessarily in the order that is mentioned here, but I would like to start with the identity and access management tool that you see, which is second on the lower, in the second row that I'm showing here. Identity and access management is a tool that can help users or that can help organizations to onboard and offboard people within the organization. So for example, if you have a new user who is joining a new organization, right? So there's a new employee who is to be onboarded into the organization. The HR will create the identity for that user or create a record for that user in their HRMS system. Our product is capable of pulling information from the HRMS system and provisioning the identity onto your Active Directory or any other application that you may want it to, right? So it's a unique technology that it is built on. If you see the traditional IDAM solutions that you have in the market, all of them operate on the API-based structure. We are a bot-based architecture. So it takes us barely half an hour to an hour to really come up with a new bot for any new application. And we are able to do onboarding, which is provisioning and deprovisioning of users on that application and that makes it the fastest tool in the world to really connect with any new application or any new HRMS system, and it can integrate and provision and deprovision the users, right? So that's more on the identity and access management domain. Now, once you've created a digital identity, right, you would have assigned a lot of applications to this identity, meaning once an employee joins, you would have a lot of applications that are that a user is given access to. So there would be applications with birthright, and there would be applications which are very specific to the department that the employee is joining. So once you give all of that, you would need to ensure that the employee, it is comfortable for the employee to really log on to all these various applications that the user has access to. Now, to make that easier and simpler, we have our own single sign-on tool that we have created. So the user needs to go on to the single sign-on application. We support all kind of integrations, be it SAML, be it OAuth, and we also have, I mean, wherever the standard technologies don't work, we have the Arcon's way of connecting to these various applications. So like Okta has its own Okta way of doing it. Arcon has its Arcon way of connecting with the various applications, and we make the access very simple for the end user who has joined the organization. Now, once the identity is created and you have provided them with single sign-on, you would also need multi-factor authentication. All right. So the multi-factor authentication would ensure that you still verify or re-verify that the user who is trying to log on to the system is the legitimate user. So Arcon has its own multi-factor authentication tool that we provide to the market. Now, we also integrate with all the leading MFAs in the world. So it could be your Google Authenticator, it could be your Microsoft Authenticator, it could be any other authenticator that you can think about. Arcon is able to integrate with all of these multi-factor authentications systems to really ensure that the end user is able to get access to the application that they are entitled for. Right now, once the user identity is created and applications are assigned to this particular identity, now this identity would behave in one of the two ways. Either they would continue to be a normal user, which is an end user in the organization, or they would have a privileged access, right? So that's where I would now like to talk about the flagship product that we have, which is Privileged Access Management, which is the first three blocks in the first row. Now, we do have a PAM solution, which we offer in three different modes. One is the enterprise. This is nothing but the on-premise model that we are still continuing to offer in the industry. The second is the privileged access management, which is SaaS based. Now, this is a full-blown enterprise product that is made available to the customers across the globe. And then we have a SaaS standard, which is a unique proposition that we have created, and I'll walk you through all the three here. So what happens is when you have a new customer who is starting a PAM journey, they may not need all the additional features and functionalities like connectors or workflow systems and stuff like that. So what we've done is we've created a PAM standard module, which we offer on the cloud. Now, what does this do? We have the 5 basic functionalities, which is the single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, password rotations and management, session recording and session management. We also have a unique feature which is called the real-time session monitoring, which is when there is a session that's going on, an administrator can barge into that session and also see what the a privileged user is doing on the particular session. So that's also included as part of the SaaS standard, and then the standard report. So the 5 functionalities that we offer as part of SaaS standard are single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, password rotation and management, session monitoring and management, and the standard reports that we offer. Now, for any new organization, these 5 functionalities are good enough to really operate with a PAM solution. Or if there is a customer in your SMB segment, small to medium businesses, they would be very happy with the SaaS standard solution because they don't need complex solutions. They wouldn't have complex installations within their organizations, and they would be happy with the SaaS standard platform that we offer to the market. SaaS Enterprise is a full-blown product. So it includes all the functionalities of your SaaS standard, and it has more than 500 connectors that we have built. It has a beautiful workflow management system. It has beautiful connectors that we have built. It has a lot of integrations that we have built. So all of that is available as part of the SaaS Enterprise offering that we have. Now, the on-premise solution and the SaaS Enterprise are exactly same in terms of features and functionalities. There is no difference when it comes to the SaaS Enterprise or the Enterprise model. It is just that the mode of delivery is different. In a SaaS environment, we offer this solution as a SaaS solution to the customers, and the enterprise solution is offered on-prem. Our SaaS solution is available on AWS. It is available on Azure. We have also hosted instances on GCP, which is the Google Cloud platform, and we have also done it on Ali Cloud. So we have the maximum. So if you look at from a competition perspective, none of our competition has a SaaS solution which is as robust as Arcon, right? No one really has a solution as significant as Arcon in the SaaS domain. So we are not only able to offer the solution through our SaaS solution, but we are also able to monitor the maximum infrastructure that is deployed on cloud. So any infrastructure that is deployed either on AWS, Azure, GCP, or any other cloud, we are able to manage and monitor the privileged access to that to all those devices which are on the cloud. Now, to give you guys an insight, any access that comes from CLI, it could come from Kubernetes, it could come from kubectl, it could come from your terminal access, it could come from management console, anywhere, anybody trying to access the infrastructure through any of these mechanisms, we are able to monitor the access basis the roles and responsibilities granted to that particular digital identity. So we are able to do all of that. We also have unique functionalities like auto onboarding. So we are able to do auto onboarding of users, the IAM users or the Azure users, and also the infrastructure, which is, it could be your EC2 instances on your AWS, or it could be VMs on Azure, or it could be your PaaS solutions, which is, it could be your RDS on AWS, or it could be Azure SQL or Google SQL on Azure and GCP, or it could be your SaaS solution. So for example, you may have a Salesforce, or you could be using Slack, O365, GitLab, GitHub, any of these products. We are able to integrate with all of these products and ensure that people, the access that people do is one, session recorded, two, we are able to rotate the passwords for even the SaaS application. So we have the widest variety of access control role-based access control available for cloud infrastructure, which could be on any cloud. As I mentioned, we are able to do auto onboarding for devices on AWS and Azure. So if there is any new IAM user or Azure user that you add, the administrator does not have to come and add that particular user to the PAM tool. It gets automatically added there. In the same way, if you spawn a new instance of EC2 or a VM, or if you have auto scaling enabled, and because of auto scaling, there is a new instance that has come up, we are able to auto onboard that. We don't have to wait for an administrator to really load that into the Arcon system. These functionalities, the auto onboarding functionalities, are available currently for AWS and Azure. They are not available for GCP. We are working on that, and hopefully before end of this year, we should have that functionality available for GCP as well. But we are able to manage the infrastructure on any cloud that may be, so it could be your IBM cloud, it could be any other cloud that you have, and we are able to do it. And so these are all the functionalities that are available on the PAM tool. Now this happens to be on the privileged identity side, right? Now the second domain that I spoke to you about was more about the normal user who is using the endpoint. Now we have if you come to the right hand side, the last point in the first row, it talks about endpoint privilege management here. Now, as part of the endpoint privilege management, we are able to offer you elevation and demotion of rights. So, for example, I may be an end user, right? And I would want to say, for example, I would want to install a printer driver on my machine. Now, in a normal scenario, you would raise a ticket for this. You would go to your help desk system. You would raise a ticket. It will get assigned to some help desk engineer. He will come with the admin credentials. He would log on to your system and do the installation. Now, this is too time consuming, and this is not necessary because it's a simple next kind of a deployment. Now, for that, we have the functionality where we can elevate and we can do the demotion of rights. So the end user can just in time request for access. Once they are granted the access, it would be on the least privilege strategy that the user will be given the access, and they will be able to perform only the activity for which they have been granted the elevation. So even if they are, for example, they have been given a permission to install a product, that does not mean that the end user will be able to go and do any modifications in the registry or play around with the registry and things like those. So that's something that we offer as part of the endpoint privilege management. We are also able to offer whitelisting and blacklisting of software that is to be deployed. So we can say that for this user, these are the only 10 software that are permitted. Anything else will never be allowed. So even if they want to implement or install a tool, they would never be able to ask for that access in the workflow system, and thus they won't be able to do it. So that's what happens here. The user behavioral analytics is also part of the endpoint privilege management ecosystem. Now, what this tool really does is it's an AI ML based tool. It kind of learns about the user behavior for a period of 90 days, right? So it learns about the user behavior, and we are able to understand over a period of 90 days all the functionalities that are involved as part of a job role for an individual. Now, with that, what we do is on the 90th day, we are then able to tell you, give you a choice of whether you want to say that the user should not be able to perform any activity other than what he or she has done in the 90 days period. We can achieve that. Or we can say that, we don't want to block the access. We would allow the user to perform, because there could be scenarios like, my colleague is absent tomorrow or today, and there is something urgent that has come up and I need to log in and do that. So you may not want to block the access, but we will continue to grant the access. And whenever there is an activity which the user is performing, which he did not perform in the initial 90 days, an anomaly will be sent to the administrator of endpoint privilege management tool, saying that probably, for example, Harsh hasn't used Gmail during the 90 days period that we were trying to learn about his behavior. He is trying to use a Gmail today. Do you want him to continue using it, or do you want to block it? If the administrator says block it, Harsh would not be able to use Gmail. But if the administrator says okay, then Harsh would be able to use it. But at the same time, we will start doing a session recording on the endpoint. Now, this is a functionality that is not available elsewhere, right? With any other tool provider in the EPM space, this is a functionality which is definitely not available. We are able to do a session recording of sessions on the endpoints as well, which is based on anomalies. So it's not that we want to record every session that's happening on the endpoint. However, whenever there is an elevation of rights that happens, or when there is an anomaly that is detected, we are able to do session recording of the sessions there. Right, so that's what we do. I think in the interest of time, I will quickly glance through the other tools that we have. We also have a beautiful CIEM tool, which is cloud infrastructure and entitlements management. Now this tool can actually for any customer who is using a hybrid cloud strategy, so they would have their infrastructure on AWS, Azure, GCP, OCI, any of it, right? So, and they would need to see a single window view. We are able to give that to the users, so they will be able to see how many instances are available on which cloud, which tools are running on which cloud. Is there a new instance that has come up? Is there a new user who has been added? What are the roles that are being assigned to the user on this particular VM or this particular EC2? Is the user really using all the rights assigned to him or her? If they are not, we can take a decision based on that. So it's a beautiful CIEM tool that we have built. Again, this is one of the products that Gartner has suggested that we are the best in the industry today. We don't have any competition sitting in the CIEM space for us. Gartner is recommending our product for everybody. We have the SCM tool, which is the security compliance management tool. Now, this tool is another important tool that we have from the information security aspect. So when I started my career probably 25 years back, the first project that I worked was on hardening of a server, right? I believe even today that problem continues to remain in the in the industry. People are using scripts to really harden their servers, but the point is that they are not able to remediate those, right? So with this tool that we have, we are able to do the scanning of your hardware to identify whether there is any hardening issue that is available on the hardware, and we are able to do remediation of this. So this tool is actually in comparison to the likes of Tenable, Qualys, and others. So that's the security compliance management tool. We have a MyVault tool, which is a competition to the likes of HashiCorp. So this is a tool that is a combination of box kind of a functionality, where if you want to do, if you want to share your files with people within the organization or outside the organization, we have that functionality. So anything like a box or a Dropbox. We also have the ability to store the certificates. So we can, any kind of secrets that you want to manage, you can store it in this particular vault. We can in fact go to an extent where you can create a certificate using this vault as well. So that's what we are able to offer to the industry, right? So these are the products that we have in the industry, and I can keep talking about it, but in the interest of time, I think I'll take a pause here. I believe the next slide will be of relevance to you. This is the ITDR framework. So Gartner in this year, February, came up with a concept which is called as identity threat detection and response. And they have come up with the 9 capabilities which are listed on the left hand side here. So all these capabilities they have identified, and Gartner has said that any organization that wants to really secure itself from the identity theft perspective should have all these 9 critical capabilities covered within their organization. And Gartner believed that probably there is no single vendor who is able to offer all the 9 critical capabilities. But we went back to Gartner and told Gartner that we believe that we are able to cater to all the 9 critical capabilities that are listed here through our 2 or 3 critical products like PAM and EPM. If you see, we are able to cover almost all the 9 capabilities that they have listed here. So this is something which is very interesting, because we are not only talking about identities, we are talking about detection and response to it. And that's exactly where the anomaly detection and other points that I mentioned to you come handy. We also have a IAG kind of a solution available within the PAM that we have. We call it UAG. That's a tool that we have, user access governance. So these modules can help you with detection and response for any kind of an identity threat that an organization has. So Arcon is the only company that is compliant, so to say, with the ITDR approach that Gartner has come up with. Coming to the product licensing, I'm sure this would be of interest to all of you. We are offering PAM Standard and PAM SaaS Enterprise, PAM Enterprise and PAM SaaS Enterprise, which is the on-premise and the SaaS model on a per device licensing metric. We offer the PAM Standard, which is the stripped down version, which I mentioned to you, which is on the per user basis, because we believe that this is not a solution that that enterprises would love to go with. So this is more for SMB segment, and thus the licensing metric is different for them. For the endpoint privilege management, the licensing metric is per user. For security compliance manager, it is per scan. So we have 2 modes through which we offer the SCM solution. Now people can actually go buy it from us and use the scan. So they can scan. We have the bundles for scan. So they can purchase the bundle and they can do the scan. So for example, if somebody would purchase a bundle of 100 scans, they would be able to do 100 scans on one machine, or they could do 100 scans on one each on 100 devices. What they get is the total number of scans. So that's one of the options that is available. And the second is predominantly where they have more than 200 odd devices. We offer it per device. So there, then the number of scans don't matter. You can run multiple scans on the same device throughout the year. But then the licensing is per device based. For the single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, and the IDAM tool, it is number of users per application, because this will totally depend on how many applications are we trying to onboard or connect to, and how many users would be available on that. So the license, this is how the licensing metric is. And I will share this slide deck with the team from Factor Group. So this will be available to all of you whenever you need it. And feel free to reach out to the Factor Group team or to anybody in Arcon, and we will be happy to help you with responses around the licensing matrix there. Right? Very important. I think I need to rush a little bit, but these are the industry verticals that we cater to. Banking and financial, we are heavily invested. Telecom is another sector where worldwide we have our tools deployed. In the telecom sector, the OT IoT devices, Arcon is the only solution provider that can cater to the maximum number of OT IoT devices in the telecom sector. CyberArk or Volex or the likes of it do not stand any chance against an Arcon in the telecom domain. We have deployed it in the government organizations, in the utilities. We have deployed it in power sector and many others, manufacturing, healthcare. Managed security service providers is another area where we have a lot of our customers. So Tata Consultancy Services, for example, have hosted Arcon's PAM solution across their 5 data centers, one in Australia, one in India, 2 in Europe, and 1 in the US. So through that, they are offering services to their customers. So it's a hosting. Likewise, we have many other customers who are signing up for managed security services, solutions from Arcon. We also have a lot of deployments in the communication and media, educational institutions, real estate, and logistics and transport. So all these industries have it. As I mentioned, we are heavily invested in banking, BFSI, telecom, government organizations, utilities. Healthcare is another big domain that we are invested in. Something very important for you guys, as I mentioned, we have, we are associated with all the big fours. We have all the global tier partners, so Accenture, HCL, Hitachi, IBM, TCS. We work with all of them. We have a strong global system integrator network, which is evident here. We have local, regional, and distributors. As I mentioned some time back, we prefer going to that geography and have 1 or 2 distributors at the max and 20 to 30 partners associated with that distributor. That's the model that we work with. And we have a niche regional consulting organization. We are on a mission to protect your ideas, data, privacy, and maybe even our future existence, right? So, totally our existence depends on the ideas and data that comes from customers and from you. Why partner with us? Most important, I believe, this is very critical for all of you on the call here. There is a lot of digitalization, that's happening. It's on a fast track for most of the industries. And if we see the cybersecurity market is likely to be more than $170 billion in 2022. So that's primary one of the reasons why the PAM segment is also going to increase, and thus there is going to be a lot of opportunity and business that is going to be generated in the PAM space. Cyber risk is in the top 3 in every report globally. So if you see any report that is published by any analyst, or in fact, even within the organizations, the research reports that are presented, they're talking about cyber risk. And identity happens to be one of the critical components of the cyber risk today, because if an identity gets compromised, everything gets compromised. So for that particular threat reason, cybersecurity is a good business to be in, and it is likely to see a 17% CAGR for the next 10 years. So year on year, we are talking about a 17% CAGR for the next 10 years. And again, this is one of the critical segments that we operate in. The key drivers are regulators are very active and have mandated several solutions. So if you see multiple geographies, there are regulators who are mandating that people should have, or the organizations should have, PAM solutions. Without that, they don't really clear their annual clearances. So it's become a regulatory requirement. Data protection is on top of every CEO's mind, right? So Arcon is an established brand and recognized by leading analysts like Gartner, Forrester, and Kappinger-Cole. Arcon is a world leader, as I mentioned. The total addressable market for us in the PAM space worldwide is around $35 billion. That's what we have, and we have the solutions exactly in that particular space. So, which is why we believe that it makes sense for for all of you to get associated with Arcon. 50% of our sales is outside the primary market. Now, when I say the primary market, it is India, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. This happens to be our primary market. So even today, 50% of our sales is coming from outside of these geographies. And now we would really love to be invested heavily in the Russian market. We are first in the world in critical capabilities. I mentioned that. We have more than 150 plus partners that we work with. We are, there is a 20% CAGR market to grow next 3 to 5 years. We have 1,050 plus enterprise customers. We are growing at a 50% CAGR in the last 5 years, and we are trying to address a market that is more than $2 to $5 billion. So these are all the right reasons. So we are at the right place at the right time, and we believe if you associate with us, you will also be able to benefit from that. Now, this is again the slide that I mentioned or spoke about some time back, where it is mentioning about all the competitions that we have in each of the domains that we have. So in MFA, SSO, and IAM domain, we compete with the likes of Okta, SailPoint, Ping Identity, One Identity. In the PAM domain, we compete with CyberArk, Beyond Trust, Wallix, Thycotic, Centrify. In the UEBA EPM space, we compete with Beyond Trust, Splunk, ForcePoint, Rapid7. And in the SCM domain, we compete against the likes of Tripwire, Qualys, and Tenable. So if you see, there is a lot of opportunity that is available for all the partners to really go and crack the market. There are various solutions available, various competition available. And in each of it, because the product is a homegrown product, we are able to hold the competition against all our competitors, and we are able to win the market. I'm pretty glad to say that in the last 12 years, we haven't lost more than 3 customers. So whatever it is, we are able to ensure that we provide the services to the customers and retain the customers. So the retention rate or our churn rate is nearly 0, and the retention rate that we have is nearly 100%. So that is one of the biggest pullers towards Arcon. Again, from a partner perspective, and this is important again for you, 70% of our revenue worldwide comes from our partners. 30%, only 30% comes from direct sales. We believe in ensuring that we do business with the partners. As the partners grow, we grow, and that's the philosophy that we believe in, which is why we have a very strong partner channel ecosystem. If you see the sales industry today, from a cybersecurity perspective, this is the spread that we have. Banking and financial happens to be the biggest one, and the likewise. So that's where it is. In Russia, when we did this analysis with a couple of analysts around in the Russian market, we realized that there is an approximate 2,000 million revenue that is available in the IT security domain, and out of which the analysts believe that more than $165 million is available purely in the PAM space, right? So we're talking about an additional 110 millions in the IAM space, in 165 millions in IGA. So if you see, there is a huge opportunity that is available for all of us to really invest in the Russian market and make it big, because there is a good money that is available, and we are told that the market is growing at a 20% CAGR there. So if you see, all these areas that I've listed here are the areas where Arcon has a solution, and each one of us can really make great money by really selling the Arcon product in the Russian market. So this is the client list that we have, global clients. So Airtel happens to be in India, Singtel is Singapore, Smart is Philippines, Yasref, Sadara in Saudi, Kane again global, Carrefour is again a global chain that we have, Mubadala, the largest financial corporation in the world, State Bank of India is the largest bank in India that we have. Ministry of Finance, so we have government customers. We have Honda worldwide. We have Tata Motors, so we have automobile sector. We have Reliance Power, which is in the utilities sector. We work with the likes of PwCs and Max Life. So PwC happens to be our MSSP provider in India. So they offer our services to their customers. In the power sector, we are dealing with Ethiopian Electricity, Reliance Power, NGCP. MR is again in the real estate domain. We work with all these leading IT companies. These are the solution providers: TCS, TechM, Wipro. All these people use our product, and they also have MSP models through which they offer services to their customers using the Arcon tools, right? We have the likes of Atos, HCL, Dubai Airport. So airports is another big segment that we are looking at. So airports is, Dubai Airport happens to be a customer with us for the last 7 years. We also have, Emirates Identity Authority as our customer, Kenya Airways, Coca-Cola. All of these happen to be our customers worldwide. So what's in it for you? Again, revenue for partners, not only the license revenue, but there is a lot of professional services that is associated with the implementations that one can do in the region. So there is a bigger opportunity and a bigger play in the professional services for the partners. So to make money. The cloud first business, as I mentioned, we are trying to enable sales during the Q4 of 2021. We did the lift and shift for the PAM tool on SaaS, but now we are trying to be, in the native SaaS modules and things like those. So we are able to vault in the SaaS domain, and that's a big shift that we have. We again are at the right place at the right time. We moved the cheese from $2 billion market to it's becoming a 35 billion market. So it's no more just PAM, it's the entire segment that we spoke about. So we are now looking at a $35 billion market worldwide that we can potentially have a role in. And that's where we are trying to beat the competition like Okta and all the leading PAM solutions and the GRA solutions, which is going to be the disruptive technology in the market. So sorry, I've exceeded my time by 10 minutes, but that's all that I had to present today. Happy to answer any questions at this stage.
Thank you, Harsh. Very interesting presentation.
Thank you, Dimitri.
We have a current question about maybe do you have special programs or promo special action to migrate from competing solution, CyberArk, for example?
Yes, Dimitri, we do have it. So we are right now going behind our competition. As I said, in all the events that I am attending, more than 50% of the of the footfall that I have on the booth is for replacements of CyberArk and Beyond Trust and Wallex of the world. So we do have a program that we are running, and we are trying to be as aggressive in the market to really replace our competition there. So yes, we do have promos and we do have special programs for migrating the customers, existing customers from CyberArk to Arcon.
15%. This sounds fantastic. Thank you.
Any other question?
Коллеги, вопросы, если какие-то есть, либо пишите, либо голосом можно задать сейчас. No questions. We can move next.
I think that is all that I had, Dimitri, for the day. Nothing else from my side. So happy to answer any questions. I believe I have kind of stated the reasons why people should get associated with us. Why should they partner with us? There is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of money that is sitting on the table, and we need your help in really reaching out to customers in the ex-USSR region. To ensure that we are able to grow our footprint there and really make it big there with all the support from Factor Group and all the partners there. So looking forward to really working with you. Happy to answer any questions. If there are no questions at this stage, please feel free to write to me anytime that you want, and I will be more than happy to respond back. So currently I am working in building the Russian geography for Arcon. So I can be the focal point of contact, and I can get all the answers coordinated internally from within Arcon to support you. So be it any new customer that you are trying to approach, be it a new, if you need any further details on the tools that we have, happy to share all of that with you.